So we've closed that gap to the playoff places down now to 5. Clinging in there, like a man with fingertips on cliff. But until it's mathematically impossible, we've just got to hope for the best and that lads can go out there and keep picking points up and other teams drop points. I'd have took this before the start of the season, I really would. But because we're there, you just feel that bit of tenseness, don't you? But nevertheless, we have closed that gap by another point. And this time last season, we went on that miraculous run. Probably one of the best runs we've had in God knows how many years. Unbelievable run. I mean, we looked dead and buried, didn't we? Could we do a similar run again? Be a big ask, but well, you've got a bit of spirit in there and everybody's trying it all. You've always got that little bit of hope that you can do it again. I mean, let's be honest, we've had quite a few miracles in the last few years, really, haven't we? Bit greedy to ask for one more. So, a point down at Cardiff today. Given the performance, I think it was a good point. Before the game, I rate fancied us for win. I know we've had injury worries and obviously Max Lowe ruled out for the season, which was a huge blow. But I still thought we could go down there and get something against these. Obviously, these have had a poor season by their standards that they were hoping for. And I thought, yeah, I could see us going down there. And genuinely, I thought I could see us even keeping a clean sheet. I could see us getting a 1 or 2-0. Which shows what I know. Square root to fuck all. Now Danny made some changes today for the game. The big one obviously is the goalkeeper. Now I've just said, and obviously the club are saying and the players are saying and the manager's saying, we're not giving in, I'm going to keep going right till the end. But if you're dropping a keeper who's been in net all season, isn't there a little bit of that where you start thinking, have they given up this season and they're looking ready for next year? And to that end, I get another little bit of that sort of positivity coming again. And I'll tell you why, because if Danny thought, we can still make the playoffs, this sort of surely he'd keep Beadle in net. If he thinks this is number one, which is his thought all season, surely he'd keep him in. He wouldn't risk chucking a kid in, A, unless he thought he could do a job, and B, maybe he's looking at him for next season. But with 7-8 games to go, why would you look at a player for next season if you're not going to be here? Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I'm getting at? So again, I've had a little glimmer of hope in week that he's going to stay, and by looking at players ready for next year, is that another little glimmer that he's going to stay? Or is that just me letting my heart roll my head? We'll find out, won't we? We'll find out. Anyway, so Charles into the net and 1 or 2 other changes for Wednesday. So Pierce Charles in net for his league debut for Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, lads had more international caps than league games, which is a remarkable stat, really. Paul Valentin at right back, Dominic Iofor and Michael Hekwe at centre back, Ryo Hatsuse at left full back, and then in midfield another change, perhaps a surprising one, Chalobah in with Barry Bannon, and then up front Jamal Lowe, his first start in 5 weeks, with Patterson, Windass and Gassama supporting him. And the referee for today's fixture was Sam Allison, who we seem to have every other week. It reminds me of when we played Sunday League, and you'd go and play some teams, and they always seem to have the same ref. And you start thinking, get handbook out, check this bastard's name in it. You start to think, I'm sure it's one at Feathers. Oh, he's got the same ref against these. I feel like we've had Allison for so many games this year. It's probably only 2 or 3, but I feel like we've had him loads, and I'm not sure that's a good thing. Speaking of referees, I don't know if you caught up with it. I was driving home from work the other night, and Football 11, they had Keith Hackett on. It was a fantastic show. It was a really great show, answering questions, explaining laws as well, because there's been so many changes to them over recent years. So if you get a chance, and you do listen to podcasts and stuff, well, I'm presuming you do, you won't be bloody watching this, would you? But if you do, go and give that a listen if it's on playback, because it was a great show, great episode. Now, as I said, I fancied us to go down there and get a good win. Why, I don't know, because our record down there is actually very poor. 1 win in the last 11 visits. Is it blind faith, or is it just looking at league table and, oh yeah, batter them? That's why I never meet a poor bookmaker, do you? Anyway. Cardiff, just they're having a struggling season. I thought they started brightly. They seem to have a lot of young kids in the team, or at least they look like young kids to me. Man, everybody looks young kids to me now. Go up to school for open day, teachers look like kids. Ring coppers at work when we've had a bit of trouble, they look like kids. Anyway, they look like got a lot of young players in the team. And they were bright. I always talk about this with that Clark that played for Sunderland. There's something about when you've got young players in the team with that sort of exuberance, and I can't even say that word, exuberance. I know, maybe I can. Youthful exuberance, and they go out and they play like they're enjoying themselves, don't they? And when people are enjoying themselves and they're relaxed, there's a bit of a better flow to the game. And I thought the 2 wide lads, they looked like they were really enjoying themselves. They really did. That first 5-10 minutes, I thought they come out strong. And I think they tried to do to us what we tried to do to United at Hillsborough the week. Come out strong, get full gun for the first 10 minutes, really have a go. And they did. We looked a bit ropey, to be honest, with that first 10 minutes. Several times we got caught square with a little flipper over the back, little chip ball over the back. Inside out wingers getting inside us. And I thought, God, we've got to... You're waiting for the tackle, aren't you? You're waiting for that first tackle to get everybody going. I said, nah, fucking, what's happening here? I'm waiting for somebody to get stuck in there. It never sort of really came. Cardiff fans up in arms at one bit over that far side. Again, one of the young lads, again, he's done a great little turn. He's got 2 men round him, and he does a sort of... It's like a mix between a Cruyff turn and one of them Zidane turns. He nutmegs like Iorfa. But if you nutmeg somebody and run straight into him, I don't really know what they're expected to do. He couldn't get out of the way, their fans were up in arms anyway about it. That would have been really harsh. Yeah, they started bright. I thought they were going to score from a set piece. The big lad got up with Danish, I think they said he were. He got up really strong. He had a little drifting off back stick again, which has been a problem for us all season. Charles had to make a smart save down on floor, at foot at post. They were cranking pressure up. And I was really surprised when I got to half time. I was looking at stats and they were quite level. They were, got to half time and I went, it looked like it would have been an even game. But I didn't feel like it'd been an even game, because when I look back at that first half an hour or so, I genuinely feel like I just spent half an hour watching that old Dowd taking corners. That's the only thing I can really, Windass had a shot from about 20 yards, easy one for the keeper. But other than that, that's my main memory of that first half, was just old Dowd taking corners. Well, I'll take that. I'll jog over the side, I'll take that. That's all I can really remember. I'm being a bit facetious about it, them having a lot of corners, but Wednesday were having to do a hell of a lot of defending that first 20-25 minutes. And I thought our passing were really sloppy as well. We couldn't get out. You've got to give credit to them. They're applying pressure and putting you under. And we've got 1 or 2 players who aren't perhaps as comfortable on ball as others, but I thought our passing was really sloppy. So even the first half especially, even players that you would expect to be a lot better on ball, we couldn't seem to retain it. And when we did have 2 or 3 passes, it tended to be sort of backwards passes and safe passes. They weren't I thought there were spaces there for us to expose, and I don't think we did. I don't think we exposed space that were there, whereas they did. Which probably the best example of that is the goal. The kid comes drifting down left-hand side. He sort of cuts into an inside left position, squares it across to his mate. He's sort of mirrored his run on the other side, squared it across, cut inside, and sort of squeezed it in on near post. But what I'd call that an Andy Cole finish. Squeeze in, hard and low, with a bit of drag on near stick. And Wednesday you're 1-0 down, and it weren't unflattering to Cardiff, to be honest with you, because I thought they'd been, like I said, the stats might not say it, but from when I was watching, I thought Cardiff were well on top that first half. I thought what stuck out that first half was they were willing to run with the ball. I thought that's one of the things that stood out about their performances. Like I said, especially the two young wide lads. Get the ball, have a run. Then when you're getting close down, it's a little give and go, pick it up again, and then carry on running. And I thought they were quite slick in some little areas there, especially for a team that's struggling. We just couldn't seem to get it in game and find any sort of attacking rhythm, couldn't seem to get it up front with a bigger ball and hold it up there. And I think one of the things there that I love Danny Rowell, I really do. The use of Jamal Lowe down the middle. That, I think he'll be off in the summer because obviously it's a move that's not worked out for him. But he's a decent and proven player at this level. And the insistence that when he does play, he hasn't played for 5 weeks until before today. But when he does play, he always comes in and gets that sort of central role. And I can't twig it for a lad who's played up 3/4 of his career off flank. Now, understandably, we've got Gassama up there, but Gassama can play right. I'm sure Lowe can play right. He's played games over there in his career, and perhaps we Lowe playing in a wide area and Patterson down middle to give us something, a bit more physical, a bit, something to it. Maybe playing off at chest and hold it and allow us to get the line out a bit and take that pressure off us. I'm always, like I said, I'm just a bloke sat here in his kitchen, but I've been really surprised that we do persist with Lowe down middle and not what's actually his best position out wide. Sloppy first half from Wednesday. I think if one thing probably summed up Wednesday's first half performance, it was just before break, Paul Valenti, he actually does well to get a foot in, intercepts a pass at back because they were carving us open with little 1-2s, but he did really well to get an interception. Drove on, he's probably gone 40 yards that pitch, and then absolutely skanks the cross. That's frustrating because he's done hard bit, he's won tackle, he's gained all ground, and then as a professional footballer, that should be the easier bit. He's taking a little bit of care with your delivery, but he's skanked that, and I thought that's some first half up. Half-time stats, both teams 76% passing accuracy. Well, I don't know we're doing counting, but I just couldn't see that, mate. That didn't appear to be game I watched first half, I'm sure computers are right and I'm wrong, but I thought we were a lot sloppier than they were. Obviously not the only one who thought they were sloppy as well, because triple change from Danny at half time. Ingleson comes on for Lowe, understandable substitution there. Charles came in for Chalobah, again understandable. I thought they'd had midfield in first half, Cardiff, and I can understand why Shea Charles didn't start. Obviously international footballing week and he's played nearly every week for Wednesday. But I could understand why he came on to give us a little bit more energy in there. And the other change from Marvin Johnson coming on left hand side for Rauhat Sousay, which meant a little bit of a shuffling system for Wednesday. We went to a sort of, I thought it was more of a 4-1-2-3, or at times like a 4-2-2, but give us a little bit more impetus on front foot, and we started second half a lot better. And a little bit of determination goes a long way. You know, we get back in game with a header, and it comes from Ingleson. It's Fancy Ingleson. He's down the left-hand side. It's not actually really his ball to win. But because of his determination to get there, puts their kid under pressure and wins a corner. You know, and it's, if you do the basic things well, if you do the ugly things well, you earn the right to play. It's the old saying, isn't it? Superb delivery from Bannon, by the way. A little bit of weft. And Wednesday actually pulling a stunt on a corner that teams have been doing to us all season. A centre-half lurking out on back line at 18-yard box, coming in and attacking ball on run, because it frustrates me all the time to just see people stood in box waiting for delivery and then having to try and generate the all power with a neck, do you know what I mean? Whereas when you're waiting at back, running in, got that momentum, get up, meet it, and that's where your power comes from. And a terrific header from Hekwe. And in fact, he's actually won a lot of headers in box this season when he's played. I think even at the beginning of the season he got some appearances before his injury. And we were finding him a hell of a lot with his head. Weren't going in, but he were getting there. He is a threat in air. And that was a terrific header to get us back in game. It's far better from Wednesday's second half. First half I thought Barry Bannon were as sloppy as anybody. I thought the second half he suddenly looked a different player. You know, I'd say his performance went up 25% in the second half. Suddenly he's got his passing going, involved in everything, and I think it's having that, knowing that Charles is in there and right, you go and get on and do what you're going to do, and do you know what I mean? I'll mop up, I'll deal with these. That's what you want to hear. If you're an attacking midfielder and someone says that to you, yeah, you go and enjoy yourself, I'll deal with these bastards, you know what I mean? And I think that's why Bannon's level looked far higher in the second half, was having Charles in there with him, and obviously the energy of Ingleson in there as well. I mean, it weren't all Wednesday second half, by the way. They still had some really good opportunities. Was it Salak? He got a really good header from across from right hand side, about 15 yards out, and it was slightly coming behind him. He did that with another one. This is what I'm talking about, having to create your own power when people don't put ball where you want it, you know. Crosses there to attack. Don't try and hit the man, because the man's bloody moving. I don't know, I'm frustrated with a Cardiff chance, but poor crosses do really annoy me. Cross whipped it, generates that power, that just goes past post. He had Charles scrambling a little bit there. Oh, and then big claims from the supporters anyway, not from any of the players, by the way. Big penalty claims from Cardiff fans. A laughable fault at Florey, 18-yard box from their lad. I forget what his name was, the number 2. Was it Pike or something? Laughable. You could see that in real time, but then when I seen that replay back, when he's lucky he don't get booked. That's one of them. You'd be a little bit embarrassed, you know. Man, they're not these days, are they? I don't think players are embarrassed about just chucking themselves on the floor. I mean, this is another thing. Sorry, I'm just going off on one here. Yeah, he's right. Don't matter whatever level it is that you played at. Somebody might go through you from behind with 2 feet, which you used to be able to do back then. You know, 1 minute you're waiting for the ball, next thing you're just staring at clouds. You just jumped up, didn't you? Like, because you don't want them to know. Oh, fucking hell, that hurt. But you don't want them to know that. You didn't want to give them satisfaction. Now, touch. There's sort of like no shame to it. I can remember 86 World Cup's the one that I really remember. Where even now, years later, I can remember loads of bits in actual games. I remember seeing Scotland playing against Uruguay. I know, but really dirty bastards who were. But that was the first time my eyes were really opened to diving. And it was such an alien thing. You know, we used to obviously play football in schoolyard on concrete. Folks would do a 2-footer on there and kids would fall over and break their arm, and they didn't make a meal of it like players do now. But that's why my short-term memory's so bad, you know, because I can remember a snippet from a World Cup game 40 years ago, 40, probably more now. I can remember bits from games like that, but, you know, I can't remember things our lass has told me to do this morning. Can you fill your brain? Is it like a filing cabinet? Well, full. Look at, sorry, these papers. No room for them. Does that happen with new memories? God damn shocking with names. Really bad. Really bad. I think I filled my brain. Football. That right. You can see both teams are, you know, yeah, alright, a draw's not worst thing in the world here. Not saying they both, you know, aren't attacking, because they are attacking. Obviously Wednesday think they can nick it, Cardiff think they can nick it, but it's not open in the sense that it's a proper gung-ho one day. And about 7 minutes ago, I think Daniel probably senses that a little bit. For Mayo comes on. Good to see him back, not played since October. And I think that just highlights the sort of injury situation that Wednesday's had this season. And he'd started the season really, really brightly as well. And obviously he's coming into that left-hand side centre-half position where Max Lowe has been playing, who's obviously now going to miss the rest of the season. And it's been such a trouble spot for us that all season long. And it's actually nice to have him back at this stage, because things were starting to pile up. Obviously 6 points off play before today, and every time there was a little bit of news coming out, oh, so-and-so's out, so-and-so's out, and you just, in your head, that 6 points up, you know, it's 2 wins in it if results go your way, but that 6 points were looking like a really tough target when you were looking at people pulling up every week. So it was good to see him back in for Mayo after a long spell out. And like I said, that last 5 minutes or so, I just thought game petered out really. Sloppy first half performance. Lackadaisical with ball, no energy, little 5-yard backwards knocks. Second half, a lot better, high tempo, more energy, more tackles, more headers. We've got to start games like that. Sometimes we do start games like that and being harsh. As about we start games like that and finish games like that. Asking a bit much. Anyway, we've got Hull Saturday. I think they're a point ahead of Cardiff in table. Like I said, not that tables mean out, you know, they're down there scrapping for their lives in some ways. I think they can be, you know, tougher games than playing teams that's in middle of the table, in middle of the pack, can't they? But good news for that. Armstrong's back in training. For Mayo, obviously, had an appearance. He's back there today. He's building himself back up. So maybe we're going to get a little bit of luck, dare I say it, you know, 1 or 2 players coming back. That'd be a massive boost. I still think Armstrong will score a goal before the end of the season, because he has got that knack of getting into the box from midfield. So that could be a real boost for us going into this last 7 now. As I said, it's still a big ask, but we've seen with some results today, we're still in there. We've clawed it back to 5 now, 5 points. Can we do it? Just got to go out and try and win your own games, aren't you? You know, other teams do slip up. There's been a couple of slip-ups today. If you can keep clawing it back, and all you can do is take your points in it. Oh, man of the match. I nearly forgot. My man of the match. Second half I thought Baz were terrific. First half I thought they were really poor. But then I thought everybody were really poor first half, if I'm honest with you. And it's easy to go for a goal scorer, isn't it? You know, I mean, the number of times over the career strikers win a man at match award and they've done fuck all for 90 minutes but they've nicked a goal. I think you can tell ex-midfielder talking here. Strikers. But yeah, it's easy to go for a goal scorer, but I am going to go for a goal scorer today because I thought Equity had a good game. Bit of a struggle first half, got caught squared a few times I thought, and obviously passing out front back not particularly, not Franz Beckenbauer. But when they had a bit of an onslaught, first 10 minutes of second half, and then probably they had a little spell about 75 when they were really chucking at us. When they brought that Tanner on, I thought he stood up to be counted. He won headers, won tackles, weren't afraid to put it into the stand. It's a bit 1983, but get your point. Clear your lines. Overall, over 90 minutes, I think I would man at match would be Michael Heckway. Yeah. I suppose I better go to bed if it really is 4:15. I've sneaked up, hasn't it? March, nearly gone. I don't know where time goes, me.